My dear brothers and sisters, pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Close your eyes and reflect. How often do we rush through life so busy with our routines, our ambitions, our worries, that we fail to hear the subtle whispers of our Creator? Allah is speaking to you every single moment through the world around you, through your heart, through the circumstances in your life. But will you listen? Or will you remain deaf to the guidance that could transform your life? 1. The voice that guides through silence. Sometimes the most powerful messages do not come through loud voices or dramatic events. They come through silence. Often we expect guidance to appear as something spectacular, like a sudden revelation or a clear sign. But Allah's messages are rarely delivered in ways that shock us. More often they come softly, quietly, in ways that require attention, patience, and awareness. The question is, are we willing to stop long enough to hear them? Think about your life for a moment. How often do you find yourself constantly moving, busy with one thing after another? How often do you scroll your phone, reply to messages, check notifications, watch videos, or listen to music without pause? There is nothing wrong with engaging in life, but when we fill every moment with noise, we create a barrier between our hearts and the subtle guidance that Allah sends us. The silence in which He speaks becomes drowned out by our distractions. Now, consider this. When you feel lost, overwhelmed, or uncertain about a decision, those moments of inner unease are often Allah's way of speaking to you. That restless feeling in your heart, that sense of discomfort when you are heading down the wrong path, that whisper telling you to stop, reflect, and think, it is Allah gently guiding you. But if you ignore it, if you keep moving without pause, life continues and the opportunity to course correct may pass unnoticed. Allah speaks to us in ways that are personal and unique. For some, it may be a quiet thought that enters the mind unexpectedly. For others, it could be a sense of peace when they make a right decision, or an uneasiness when they're about to make a mistake. These are subtle nudges, but they are very real. They are not coincidences, they are not your imagination. They are moments in which your Creator is speaking directly to you, if only you would listen. Take a moment and think about the last time you felt truly connected to yourself or to Allah. Perhaps it was a moment when you were alone in nature, or when you were sitting quietly in your room reflecting on life. Maybe it was a moment of gratitude or a moment of pain that forced you to stop and think. In that silence, if you listened closely, you may have noticed something, a thought, an idea, a sense of direction. That was Allah speaking to you. That was your heart receiving guidance, if only you allowed it. Many of us are uncomfortable with silence. We feel the need to fill it with something, anything. Silence can feel empty, even frightening. But it is precisely in those quiet moments that Allah's voice becomes audible. If you never sit in silence, if you never pause to reflect, you will never hear it. And the more we fill our days with noise, whether through social media, television, endless chatter, or constant activity, the more we desensitize ourselves to these subtle reminders, we miss the signs, the guidance, the gentle direction that could have changed the course of our lives. Listening requires effort. It requires patience. It requires intention. It is not enough to simply sit quietly. You must be present, open, and willing to receive. Try this. Set aside even 5 minutes each day where you turn off your devices, step away from your work, and simply sit in silence. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and pay attention to your thoughts, your feelings, your heart. Notice the moments when a thought comes that feels different, that feels meaningful, that nudges you toward reflection, correction, or gratitude. That is Allah speaking to you. That is guidance entering your consciousness. Silence also allows you to process what is happening around you. Life is full of experiences, both good and bad, and it is easy to become overwhelmed. When we do not take time to reflect, we react impulsively, make decisions based on emotion or distraction, and often lose sight of what truly matters. But when we sit in silence, we create space for clarity. We begin to understand ourselves better, our priorities become clearer, and we can recognize the ways in which Allah is guiding us toward the right path. Consider the story of a traveler lost in the desert. If he is constantly running, panicking, and calling out, he may not notice the subtle signs that could lead him to water or safety. But if he stops, listens, observes, and pays attention to the environment, the wind, the tracks in the sand, the movement of the sun, he can find his way. Our hearts are like that traveler. Silence is the moment to pause, observe, and receive guidance. Remember, Allah's guidance is not always immediate or dramatic. It may come slowly, in small increments, through a gentle feeling, a subtle thought, or a quiet realization. But if you are patient and attentive, you will notice it. The more you practice sitting in silence and listening, the easier it becomes to recognize His voice in your daily life. You will begin to see the signs that you previously ignored, understand the lessons hidden in your challenges, and feel a peace that only comes from knowing you are walking in alignment with the one who created you. So, my dear brothers and sisters, do not fear silence. Do not avoid moments of quiet. Embrace them. Make space in your day to step away from the noise of the world, to disconnect from distractions, and to listen. In these moments, Allah will speak to you, your heart will understand, and your life will begin to shift in ways you cannot imagine. The voice that guides through silence is powerful, personal, and transformative, but only if you choose to listen. In conclusion, I ask you today, are you willing to stop? Are you willing to sit quietly, even for a few minutes, and hear what Allah is saying to you? Because if you do, your heart will open, your mind will find clarity, and your soul will find a peace that nothing else can give. 2, your heart knows the truth. My dear brothers and sisters, every human being has been gifted with something extraordinary, something far more powerful than intellect, far more subtle than what the eyes can see or the ears can hear. That gift is your heart. Your heart carries within it an innate understanding of right and wrong, of guidance and misguidance. Allah has placed within you this compass, this inner voice that is always speaking to you, always nudging you in the right direction. But how often do we truly listen to it? How often do we trust it? Many of us rely entirely on logic, on reason, on the opinions of others. We ask people what we should do, we follow trends, or we make decisions purely based on what seems convenient or profitable. There is nothing wrong with seeking advice or thinking carefully, but when we ignore the voice within the quiet guidance of our heart, we lose a connection to the wisdom that Allah has placed within us. That voice, my dear brothers and sisters, is not just intuition, it is Allah speaking to you through your very soul. Think for a moment about the times in your life when you felt certain about a decision, even when everyone else disagreed. Perhaps you felt uneasy about a business deal, a friendship, or a relationship. Perhaps there was a feeling inside you, a discomfort that you could not explain. And yet, because it was subtle, because it could not be proven or measured, you ignored it. Later, you realized that your heart was right all along. That is no coincidence. That is the guidance of Allah speaking through your heart, reminding you to pay attention, to trust, and to act with integrity. Your heart knows the truth even when your mind does not. It knows the difference between sincerity and deceit, between what is beneficial and what is harmful. It senses when someone's intentions are pure or when they are misleading. It feels the weight of actions before consequences appear. And yet, we live in a world that constantly teaches us to doubt ourselves, to rely solely on external validation, to ignore the soft voice inside. We seek approval from friends, family, colleagues, and society, while the guidance of Allah remains there, waiting patiently for us to notice. This is why it is so important to cultivate awareness and mindfulness. To truly hear the voice of your heart, you must spend time reflecting, questioning, and being honest with yourself. Ask yourself, why do I feel uneasy? Why does my conscience react this way? Am I acting in a manner that aligns with what I know to be right, or am I simply following the crowd? The answers are often found not in books, not in lectures, not in endless advice, but in the quiet reflection of your own heart. Consider the way your heart responds to sin and wrongdoing. When you do something you know is wrong, do you feel uneasy, anxious, or restless? That discomfort is a warning. That is Allah speaking to you through your conscience, telling you to stop, to correct yourself, to return to the right path. And when you do something good, something sincere, do you feel a lightness, a sense of peace? That is also guidance, a confirmation that you are aligning yourself with the truth that Allah has placed within you. Your heart constantly provides these signs. Many people, however, suppress these feelings. They rationalize their actions, ignore the discomfort, and push their conscience aside. They convince themselves that it is easier, more profitable, or socially acceptable to follow the wrong path. But the heart never forgets. It carries that knowledge, that awareness, and it continues to speak. And the longer you ignore it, the heavier it becomes, until one day it becomes impossible to ignore. Life will confront you with challenges, pain, and loss, not to punish you, but to remind you of what you have ignored. Listening to your heart also requires courage. Often, the voice of the heart will ask you to do something difficult, something that goes against the current, against convenience, against temptation. It may ask you to forgive when it is hard, to speak the truth when others are silent, to choose humility over pride, to prioritize your relationship with Allah over fleeting worldly desires. This is why so many ignore it. It asks more of us than the world ever will. But when you follow your heart's guidance, you are following the guidance of Allah. And that path leads to peace, contentment, and success beyond what the world can offer. Take a moment now and reflect on your own life. What has your heart been trying to tell you? Which nudges have you ignored? Which truths have you avoided because they were uncomfortable? Be honest with yourself. The heart is patient, but it is also persistent. It will continue to speak until you finally listen. And when you do, it will feel like a weight lifted, like clarity and light filling spaces that were once dark and confused. The beauty of this gift from Allah is that it is always available, always present, and always accurate. It is not influenced by trends, by envy, by fear, or by pride. It is a reflection of Allah's knowledge within you. When you act in accordance with it, you will notice harmony in your decisions, peace in your soul, and confidence in your actions. You will no longer be torn between right and wrong because your heart will guide you clearly. So, my dear brothers and sisters, take care of your heart. Listen to it, reflect on it, protect it from the noise and distractions of the world. When you feel doubt, when you feel confusion, when you are uncertain about the path ahead, pause and ask your heart, what is the truth? Then trust the answer that rises within. It is Allah speaking to you, guiding you, loving you, and preparing you for what is best. Your heart knows the truth. It always has and it always will. But only if you are willing to listen, only if you are willing to trust, only if you are willing to act. 3. Trials are messages. My dear brothers and sisters, life is not meant to be easy. It is full of trials, challenges, and tests. Moments that push us to our limits, moments that shake our confidence, and moments that make us question everything we thought we knew. But here is the truth we often overlook. These trials are not punishments. They are messages. They are reminders from Allah, guiding us, teaching us, and shaping us into the people we are meant to become. Think about it for a moment. When you face difficulties, whether it is the loss of a loved one, a failure at work, financial struggles, or a personal disappointment, what is your first reaction? Do you despair? Do you complain? Or do you ask, why me? These are natural human reactions. But what if instead we paused and asked, what is Allah trying to teach me through this? This shift in perspective changes everything. Trials are not obstacles to faith. They are opportunities for faith to grow. Allah speaks to us through our struggles. Each difficulty, no matter how small or large, carries a message for us. Perhaps a test is teaching patience. Perhaps it is showing us the consequences of our past actions. Perhaps it is preparing us for something greater, something beyond what we can see at the moment. The challenge is to recognize the message. The challenge is to look beyond the pain and see the guidance that lies within. Consider the story of a person who lost their job. At first, it feels like a catastrophe. The immediate thoughts are of fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. How will I survive? What will I do next? Why did this happen to me? But if we reflect, we might begin to see the lesson hidden in that trial. Perhaps Allah is nudging this person to explore new opportunities, to trust Him more, to develop skills they never knew they had. Perhaps the loss is a blessing in disguise, a chance to redirect their life toward a better path that aligns with their true purpose. Trials are often disguised blessings, but only for those who take the time to listen. It is important to understand that the voice of Allah is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes He speaks through subtle signs, through circumstances that seem ordinary at first, but carry a deeper meaning if we pay attention. When life challenges you, do not dismiss it. Do not assume it is random or meaningless. Allah is speaking through that moment, and your task is to listen carefully, reflect deeply, and respond wisely. Many of us, however, make the mistake of seeing only the difficulty, not the message. We focus on the pain, the struggle, the injustice, and we forget that every test carries guidance. We forget that every hardship is an opportunity to grow spiritually, emotionally, and morally. Life is not about avoiding trials. It is about learning to read them, to interpret them, and to act on the wisdom they contain. When you begin to see trials as messages, you stop blaming the world, you stop blaming others, and you start seeing the hand of Allah guiding you through each experience. Patience is the key to hearing the message. When trials come, our instinct is often to react impulsively, to complain, to feel bitter. But if we can take a step back, if we can breathe, reflect, and ask ourselves what Allah is trying to teach us, we transform the trial from a source of suffering into a source of wisdom. Every difficulty has a lesson for those willing to listen, and the greatest reward comes from recognizing it, embracing it, and responding with faith. Imagine a person walking through a storm. The wind is strong, the rain is heavy, and every step forward feels impossible. Many would despair, feel hopeless, and wish for the storm to end immediately. But a wise person would observe the storm, understand its direction, use it to guide their path, and recognize that the storm itself is shaping their journey. In life, trials are like that storm. They test our strength, patience, and faith. They guide us if we are attentive, but they overwhelm us if we are careless or distracted. Brothers and sisters, it is also important to remember that trials are not the same for everyone. Some face financial hardship, some face illness, some face relational struggles, and some face spiritual challenges. But the principle remains the same. Every trial carries a message. Every difficulty is a call to reflection, to repentance, to growth, and to reliance on Allah. Life is a classroom, and every test is a lesson designed for your soul's development. One more truth to consider. The trials we face today may prepare us for blessings tomorrow. They may be shaping us in ways we do not yet understand. They may be teaching resilience, compassion, humility, or faithfulness. So when a challenge comes, do not ask only why me. Ask also, what is Allah teaching me? And how can I respond in a way that pleases Him? This mindset transforms suffering into purpose, despair into hope, and confusion into clarity. Finally, my dear brothers and sisters, never lose hope. Trials are messages, not punishments. They are reminders of Allah's constant presence, of His care and of His wisdom. They are opportunities to strengthen our connection with Him, to purify our hearts and to grow into better, stronger and more patient individuals. Do not ignore the lessons hidden in your difficulties. Do not push away the guidance that comes through hardship. Listen, reflect and act, because Allah is speaking even when the world seems silent. Remember, the trials you face are not meaningless. They are personal messages written uniquely for you, carrying wisdom, guidance and mercy. When you begin to understand this, your perspective changes. You no longer fear the storms. You no longer resent the difficulties, and you no longer feel lost. Instead, you see life as a journey of learning, a conversation with Allah, and an opportunity to grow closer to the one who loves you unconditionally. For gratitude is listening. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the simplest yet most profound ways to hear the voice of Allah is through gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite expression or a habit. It is a practice of the heart, a way of being present to the countless blessings that surround us every single moment. Allah is constantly speaking to us through our lives, through the people we meet, through the air we breathe, through the simple joys and even the quiet challenges. When we cultivate gratitude, we open our hearts to recognize these messages, and we begin to listen in a way that is transformative. Think about your day for a moment. From the moment you wake up, you are surrounded by countless blessings. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your senses allow you to experience the world. Many of us take these simple gifts for granted, focusing instead on what we lack, on what we want, on what we fear. But the truth is, these small blessings are reminders from Allah. They are opportunities to connect with Him, to acknowledge His presence and to feel His mercy. Gratitude is the key that unlocks this awareness. When we fail to recognize blessings, our hearts become hardened, distracted and disconnected. We see only the problems, the struggles, the pressures and the noise of life. We miss the subtle messages that Allah is sending every day. For instance, a kind word from a friend, a meal on your table, the smile of a child, a gentle breeze or a moment of rest. These are all signs of Allah's care and attention. To ignore them is to ignore His voice. To see them and feel thankful is to listen, truly listen with the heart.